Hey guys, it's Drea. So I have another face of the day in review for you. This is 10 hours later. Basically, I know we're starting out at the beginning of the video, but 10 hours ago I put this makeup on, and these videos are intended to bring you an all-day wear test on many of the things on my face. This basically gives you a snapshot of how things worked out. So all this makeup went on my face right about, I want to say like 8 a.m. I think I was done getting ready by 8:30, and it's 10 after 6 right now. So I just worked all day and I'm home about to make dinner, want to wash my face off. Isn't that always the way? Like, I just want this makeup off now, you know? Like after a long day sometimes, it's just like, let's just do skincare and feel better. I want to talk about all of the base makeup together, kind of as one scope, because I kind of experimented today with a very hydrating foundation and tried to mattify it, and it didn't really work. So this is the Covergirl Vitalist Elixr foundation. This one is in the shade 610. I like this foundation. I've talked about it many times over the last year on my channel. It's very hydrating, and with oily skin that doesn't usually work very well. So normally I will only wear this if I know like I'm just going out for a few hours, or if I'm just filming a video. I never normally wear this all day at work, and I thought I would try today because I wanted to experiment using this, the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. Basically it's a primer, it's a mattifying primer. This is actually one of the strongest mattifying primers that I own. And then also the MAC Prep+Prime Fix Plus Matte, which I've talked about a little bit. But I really wanted to see if these two ultra mattifying products would keep this not being oily on my face. Now, I think we have some success and some not so much success, because if I take a oil blotting sheet, you're gonna see this is just, it's gonna be so disgusting. Just like, look away, like look how much oil that is. Like, it's so much. But that being said, I did stay oil-free longer than I would normally with this foundation, and at the same time, even if I'm blotting, and I did blot just with a paper towel a couple times today, the foundation didn't necessarily break down completely. So if I look at my face close up, I don't see any loss of foundation in those areas that I normally would. So a lot of the time I'll see it like gone from my nose or gone from my chin, and it's not gone. Now it looks oily AF, but it's not gone. So I think these two things really did help in keeping this like maintained. So it's essentially I shouldn't do this again. Like, this is not a good experiment. It's not like a successful experiment. This still isn't going to work for me for long periods of time. I still do like it. I still like the way it looks. Like, it's really pretty. It's very dewy. It's very like natural glowy foundation. And that's why I like it so much. But on my oily skin, it doesn't necessarily work, you know? So I can't make it work for me even with this kind of stuff. It did work better than it normally would on its own for that long a period of time. 10 hours is a long time for an oily girl. But, you know, it wasn't like a roaring success. Okay, since I talked about all those together, let's talk about the under eye altogether. So I busted out my Benefit OG Erase Paste. They don't sell this anymore. They sell the airbrush concealer. I can't remember what they renamed it. They renamed it something, and I swear to God, guys, they did change the formula. So this is my color corrector today. This is my concealer, the YSL All Hours concealer, which is my makeup use-up concealer, and it is getting there. Like, I've had to scrape stuff out of here lately. And then the Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. And so just to quickly talk about this, you can't get this, and that's not why I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it in relation to the new one. I don't recommend the new one because the new one is not as good as this. I feel like this really cancels out my darkness, whereas the new one, it just doesn't. It's not as peachy. Like, this is very peachy. The new one is not as creamy, and it's more pink to me, not peach. So I definitely don't like it as much. This is still really good. Very full coverage concealer. I've talked about that a couple times. Definitely like in my top 3. But I really, since I have shot my stash, I've really been wanting to talk about this in an all-day wear test so you guys could like really see. I feel like for 10 hours, my under eyes still look pretty darn good. Like, they're still bright. I don't have a ton of like dryness under there. I don't have like any creasing, and it's pretty bulletproof. Like nothing has moved, and that's why I love this stuff. Like I really just want you guys to see just how good this still looks after 10 hours. And of course, in the beginning of the video, I always put what my face looked like, you know, when I started this makeup day. All right, moving on to like cheek products. I have my Becca Bali Sands bronzer. This is also makeup use up. I just recently busted this back out again. It's getting to that time of year where I can try to finish using it up. And it's just a really nice, like subtle bronzer on me. So I still really like it. My highlight today is MAC Soft and Gentle. I think it looks really pretty when my skin is really oily. It's a lot more subtle when I started out, and as the oil comes through, that always helps the highlight. It really does. And then for my blush today, I'm using Laura Mercier Spice Cider. I really like this. It's a really good fall blush. Let me just give you a swatch, because I know like on the cheeks sometimes it's hard to tell. And it's just like this really nice burnt kind of apricot looking, really pretty. I don't feel like it's probably not as intense as it first was when I first put this on, but that's okay. For me, it doesn't really bother me that much if my blush kind of fades throughout the day. Like, sure, would I like it to look perfect? Absolutely, but if anything is gonna kind of wear away, blush doesn't bother me so much. For brows, this is brand new, guys. I am trying the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I just purchased this. I haven't hauled it or anything. I just bought it and started using it. I've never used a Benefit brow pencil before. I used to be like ride or die for Anastasia. What happened was, I realized I had $20 in points for Shoppers Drug Mart and they carry Benefit, and I was like, well, would I rather like pay, what was it, $15 for this or $27 for Anastasia? So that's why. But this though is actually more expensive than the Anastasia one by about $5 here in Canada anyway, if you don't have points to redeem. So I don't know why. I think $32 is a bit much for an eyebrow pencil. Like Benefit, like calm yourself down a little bit. But I do like it. It's lasted pretty well. I feel like my tail on this side maybe wore away slightly, and that happens with oily skin. But everything else is looking exactly the same. And then I've used this forever, the Gimme Brow Plus in shade 1. But I've been enjoying this pencil. I think it goes on really nicely. This is in the shade 3, by the way. I think it goes on really nicely and it stays pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with it. And then lastly is eyeshadow. So I did do a tutorial with this palette, and I don't know if that'll be up first or not, but I'll link to it if it is, and if not, you can look forward to seeing it soon. This is the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette, and I really wanted to do something really warm today because the other time I used this, I was very cool tone with greens. Okay, so today, now only the circular ones have names, the ones in the middle don't. So today I used this shade here as my transition shade. We did this shade here in the crease. We did the deep kind of purple in the outer V. And then all over the lid was Pisces right there. So I'm gonna swatch them all for you. So there are the 4 colors there. Very fall vibes. I wanted to kind of go with my shirt today. You know, I wanted to do something very, very warm. I do think after looking at this all day, that it definitely looked a little bit more precise in the morning. I feel like the blending was like, they blend really well. And I feel like the blending was more, you could see the different colors more. And right now, even though it still looks really pretty, I think you can't like see the orange as nicely as you first did when it was first applied. And these metallic shadows, and I noticed this in my tutorial too, they apply like almost no other metallic shadows I've ever seen. The way they go on with a brush is almost just like putting metal on your eyes. Like it's so intense when it first goes on, and I was so impressed with that every time I've used it. And though it's still pretty and it still shows up, it's not that liquid metal look that it first looked like when I first applied it. So overall, they have kind of faded slightly, and I don't want to say they look muddy, but they definitely, like I said, you can't really see each color as its own thing anymore, but I still really like it. Like, I am really impressed. For a super affordable palette like this, I have been very impressed, and I'm going to be continuing to use this a lot through the fall and winter. I know I want to do like some version of tutorial or like wear test or something with each sign. So I've done Sagittarius already, and today I did Pisces, and I did Taurus the other day too, I think. Anyways, I'm gonna end up using all of them. I've been enjoying the palette a lot. Thank you guys for all your feedback in my last Face of the Day in review, and I think what we've determined is, even though so many of you love this, it's better to do it every 2 weeks, and maybe 3 times a month. If there's like a weird week or something, I could do it 3 times, but I think every week is a little much. It gets a little repetitive. Definitely every 2 weeks I think is a really nice sweet spot. So thank you for your feedback on that. Is definitely taken into account. And also, a few of you said maybe don't pull from your Shop My Stash and just pull from your whole collection for these videos. And that is kind of what I tried to do today with a few products here and there. So that was really good advice. Thank you for that as well. If you're new around here, definitely subscribe. I'd love to see you around in the future. And that's it for today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope that you're speaking kindly to yourself, especially when you look in the mirror, guys. I love you. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.